Wished.
I do as well. So that was Clu Clu Land. First off, for a game that neither of us have ever tried before, and we're quite confused at the very beginning, that ended up being quite a fun time to the point where we ended up going longer than we thought we were going to. So yeah, that game, it has unique swinging mechanics where you have to swing around to kind of get your trajectory going and try to solve a puzzle there. So I guess this would be considered more of a puzzle game, I would say. Definitely some more than a platformer because you're trying to solve the puzzle while avoiding the enemies that are about, surrounding you. Um so with all that being said, yeah, surprisingly fun, good time. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, it was definitely a surprising uh game. I did not expect to. I don't know what I expected actually. To be fair, from that image, I did not think would be puzzling, flinging around orbs in that way. But yeah, that was good. I liked it. I'd definitely play that again.
I did. I
The
did.
whole creating the image thing, it was like addictive because you're kind of like, oh, I need to reveal what am I doing?
Yeah, and then you have to figure out as you go because not all the puzzles that you are solving are as clear as you would think. But and then once you get it, you kind of get it. I mean, there are a few. I think one or two puzzles that we were like, "What is that supposed to be?" We just kind of did it, but for the most part,
Yeah,
you do understand what you're trying to solve. And once you do understand, that is kind of like the genius of this game is that you once you understand what you're solving, you have a more clear goal of which part you're trying to find gold bar wise in order to complete the puzzle. But it does take a second to get because of course it's not just a straight movement to left, right, down, and up. You are trying to figure out the right way to swing. You have to figure out where your arm will go and how to swing it from there. It did take us a second, but once we started to get it, we started to get a lot better and we started to complete a lot more levels. And I would even go as far as say because obviously you can play this game by yourself and it's probably fun that way as well. But I really feel like this is a game that's really meant for co-op as well because I feel like not only is it a
hmm
lot easier, but I feel like it's a lot more fun to do so. And on that note, we said it while we were playing the game, but all three of the games that we ended up doing today ended up being simultaneous co-op games for the NES. Like I was talking about how a big deal that was for Ice Climber to have it, and then Balloon Fight had it with as well. But then Clu Clu had it, so all three games, like without me even intending to, ended up to be games that show off the rare NES games that feature simultaneous multiplayer, which really I must stress did not happen very often during the NES era. But here you are, they're all here for you to enjoy. And on that note, Cuckoo Land, I think obviously it's another game that just really never got anything else. But I guess with Donkey Kong King of Swing that I now need to try, got it. It was a spiritual sequel to that game, even though no one really talks about that game. But
yeah, I can imagine it now as you say it. Was that on the Game Boy Advance or was it?
it was, and I
Yeah.
believe you can even get that game on the Wii U Virtual Console as well. So if any
hmm
of you out there that want to try that game and have a Wii U, you can definitely do that. But as far as Cuckoo Land's merits, it's a unique game. There's not quite much else out that's like it. I think once you figure it out, I think it holds up well for the sheer fact that it's just so unique and you're just trying to solve the different puzzles. But how do you feel?
It's like P-Cross but with like action elements rather than
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
kind of like
Like
yeah, it reminded me of that.
it's action P cross because yeah, like in P cross, you're solving a puzzle that's meant to be a specific shape, but you're not like it's not like through
Yeah.
thought and what have you. It's just like power your way through without getting taken out by the enemies. I
Yeah,
think that
definitely.
I think that's pretty
It
cool. I think it's pretty cool that it ended up being that way. Yeah, Cuckoo Land's fun. Give it a try. You once you take a second to get a feel of it, and you might enjoy it. And then if you can convince someone else to try it as well, you might have a good time co-oping to try to get through all the different puzzles in the game. The only thing is though, I did not see an option for passwords though. So if you and your partner do die in this, you do seem to have to like start all the way over. Now it does have only
yeah, that was
21.
a bit of a downside.
It is very much of a downside. Now, they did say that there's only 21 puzzles compared to some of the other games that had like a lot more levels. So if you just get really good at this game and you can just like knock through all those early levels, maybe that won't be an issue for you. But for a lot of people, I can see them struggling with those early levels just to make it all the way back to where they were and have to go through the early levels. So that is a bit of a downside. But if you and a partner or just by yourself really jive with this game, give it a try. That's all. That's my recommendation, to just give it a try, because it's quite unique. I really don't think I've ever played a game quite like it. And it's so cool that there's so many of these NES games that are just as different. And that's the one thing that I guess is I somewhat like indie games. You still get ideas. All kind of ideas. But in this era of games, like there's all these different NES games, but they're not all 2D platformers. They're games of all different kinds. Like there's a lot of 2D games certainly, but then Ice Climber, is about getting to the top of the mountain. Balloon Fight is like in this one area where you're trying to beat each other. And Clu Clu Land is just a top-down puzzle game, which we had no idea what it was. There's just so many cool, unique ideas that really didn't get explored anywhere else, and I think it's I'm enjoying doing this series because I'm really trying out some games that I had never really tried before, and seeing how many of these cool ideas got. Some of them that ended up going far, like Super Mario Brothers or Kirby, are now franchises that everyone knows. And then you got games like Clu Clu Land that no one's heard about that has surprisingly good gameplay to it. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Anything else you want to say about Clu Clu Land before we start rolling out?
No, you pretty much summed it up. Yeah, it's a fun little bop that you can definitely have
Yeah.
in multiplayer. And yeah, that was after you've got the hang of the swinging mechanic, it kind of feels a lot more fluid, so you can get used to it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely try it out. But anyway.